commit to a play.
Bro, are they seriously not going for this? Round 11?
I think
Like, you can buy next?
farm orbs on the Phoenix. You can buy next round no matter what. I mean, yeah, maybe.
What are we playing for? Like, Ascend can buy! What are you doing?
Oh my god, what?
It's round 11! Like, there is... What? And he still gets the kill anyway! So today we're going to talk about something that annoys me, as you saw from the clip at the start, and that is sometimes pro teams' economy management, because I think a lot of the time it's less than ideal and far from perfect. So today we're going to learn about the economy and when exactly should you save and when should you not save. And to do so, we're going to take a look at Gentlemates versus Ascend, because Gentlemates saved a lot in this game. And so we're going to take a look at some of their saves and whether they were good or not. To do this, first I'm just going to play the round for you until they decide to save, so that you can kind of see what's gone on to the round up until that point.
Reminding them you're there. Turtle remind Gentlemates that Ascend are up in arcade.
Yeah, there's a heavy presence here from them. Aftershock forcing Logan out into the open, which puts him in a great position for Alive to pick him out. So quickly Ascend find their way on site. Barely any trouble for them, actually. They just walked in and the spike will get planted. But look at Gentlemates. So close onto that rotate.
Wall comes out on the attack, and that's going to keep him sort of stuck behind here for a long time. Pretty tough to flash out there with the breach past the wall. This is going to be a lot of effective stall. Yeah. There's no flank options either coming in for the Gentlemates. 3 up towards... I mean, they might save this entirely. Like, they have an operator on Takas. They can't actually play this round out.
They've called it. They're dropping back.
So let's pause it right here and talk about this decision to save in this round. And the first thing whenever you're considering a save is, what is your chance of actually winning the round? Right? Because if you're very likely to win the round, you shouldn't be saving. So we're in a 4v5, as you saw Alive get that first kill. But another thing you have to consider when talking about your chance of winning the round is what utility do you have left available to you? And actually, Gentlemates here actually do have, you know, a fair amount of utility between them, right? But one thing that they are crucially lacking is some smokes. And I think in this particular instance, that matters quite a lot. Because also, what's going to impact your chance of winning is what the game situation is, right? They're all trying to retake a 4v5 from spawn. And as the defenders, fully retaking from spawn here is going to be particularly difficult on this B site, because you have to deal with these crossfires, and we don't have any smokes, right? So, you know, we can't smoke anyone off either from these crossfires. So it is going to be very, very difficult to get out of our spawn and manage to make this a successful retake. The next thing, of course, you have to consider with saving is your economy state, right? So this would be their first loss, so they're only going to get a first loss bonus if they do lose this, which would be just plus 1,900. And generally, it is better to save when you are on that first loss bonus. So keep that in mind as well, that's just an extra reason of why you might want to save in this instance. But if we look at their economy of their players, 4 of their 5 players actually would still have, you know, and more than enough money in some cases to buy in the next round, even with just a first loss bonus. And that's assuming that they don't get any kills either, right? So we'd still actually have a buy for next round, even if they did go for it and lose. But then one thing I don't get considered enough when it comes to saving is the opponent's economy, because the economy is a 2-player game in most circumstances. If one team has like max creds and can buy for the rest of the half, then it kind of becomes a 1-player game. But for most circumstances, it is a 2-player game. And this is a good example of it, where by choosing to save in this instance, what you allow is Ascend, obviously, aren't going to die. So they are going to get just plus 3,300 here from, you know, planting the spike and getting a round win. And their economy is going to be really, really good, right? And so that's going to impact the game for the rest of the game, where Ascend now are in a really good economical situation where they'll be able to buy now for the next couple of rounds. And so this is something else you really have to consider when it comes to saving. Generally, saving is going to be better if your opponents are actually on more creds and could buy anyway. So in this instance, was this a good save? Well, I would say that this is probably on the safer side. I'm kind of surprised that they didn't try and stick around and maybe just, you know, try and find a kill and then go for it, right? Maybe not fully push out, but just see if anyone is over peaking or anything. You know, you've got an operator as well, which is another point for saving, but it might be able to, you know, just pick someone off, and then you're in a 4v4 and then you might go for it, right? But what I would have liked to see them do if they are going to save is try and play for those kills, right? Try and maybe get out here and get to the north side of the map and just see if anyone, you know, is dancing at the end of the round, just hopping around, and you can maybe find a free kill and, you know, make someone else buy a gun again, right? That's what I would prefer. Instead, they just kind of huddled up and, you know, tried to play it super safe and allowed Ascend to build their economy. Okay, our next example here is round 3 on Lotus this time. Let's take a look at this round.
Batty G had the Bulldogs too, so here's the early aggression. You can see teleports to try and combat though.
Red by alive and tank quick on the trade. So Gentlemates are going to just have to force their way out of there. And Batty G does the same.
This is the tough thing though. If Gentlemates ever lose, oh no, Musashi.
By Musashi.
I mean, but Natank is just out in front of the turret. Just a bit of a blunder there on his end, and now A site completely left open too. It's really hard for the Gentlemates to hold on to A if that opening gambit ever fails. Even if they don't lose players, if they have to fall off that space, because they don't have the permanence of a Viper Wall or something to block off Tree and block off so that no man's area outside Baby Door, you just get completely relegated to playing retake, and something tells me. I don't know if you watched Fracture, but on defense, the Gentlemates went for quite a few saves.
They did. And
they might be saving again.
They're doing it again. What is that?
So let's pause this one right here and talk about this save. And they're trying to save 3 rifles. Eventually, one of them dies at the very end of the round and they go 1 for 1. So they actually only end up saving 2 rifles. But obviously, in this instance, their money is very low, right? So it's a 3v4. Your money is very low. Although this is a bonus round for Ascend, they have a very good buy. You know, they've got 3 rifles and a Bulldog here. So it's not like, you know, it's basically just a pure 4v3, you know, pretty equal in terms of the gunplay here. And so you probably would say, yeah, this is a fair save, especially considering, you know, how low they are on their money overall. And, you know, they aren't really going to impact the Ascend's economy too much here either. And so you'd have to probably say that it doesn't feel great, but this probably is a good save. Okay, next example is the very next round. So let's take a look at this one.
Shot. He himself has fallen down low and he's being pursued by so many players and so many different angles. So he gets picked off, so Ascend easily find their way on site.
The tank.
Oh, Musashi's there.
He's aware that this lurk timing is being taken by Musashi virtually every single round. And that's not something that will ever change. It comes down to the patience of Musashi and how you can sort of mix that up round to round to continue keeping players on their toes, because the fact is, Natank can't sit there forever, so he wants to push and take that out. Finally, Musashi goes for it. He thought 15 seconds was enough, but...
So let's pause here and talk about this save. And there's something about back-to-back saves that just feels inherently wrong, right? It feels like you're almost giving up the game. And that is a point, right? That, of course, anytime you choose to save, you're giving your opponent, you know, roughly 7.5% of their overall win total, right? Because, of course, you can't win the round when you choose to save. But in this particular instance, you know, they were in a 3v5. It became a 3v4. This Killjoy actually only had a Sheriff, but it's going to go and pick up Musashi's gun now. And, you know, they're going to save the 3 rifles here. So is this a good decision? Well, in this particular instance, now they're on max loss bonus, right? So actually, these players could buy for the next round if they wanted to, but by saving they can, you know, can continue to build up their economy here and get it into a better state. And of course, Ascend's economy, because they saved the round before, is in such a place that it's like, you know, it is almost becoming a one-player game here, the economy, because Ascend's economy is just, you know, so massive for some of these players that, you know, they're never going to struggle to buy anytime soon. You're going to have to win, you know, a lot of rounds in a row to ever, you know, make this kind of a problem for Ascend here. So that actually makes it a better decision to save, because you're only focused on your economy. You're not upsetting their economy by getting any kills. So again, it doesn't feel great, and this is another one where you'd say in a 3v5, probably saving is the right choice. But then this is the round that I got really annoyed at, round number 11, so let's take a look at this one.
How to swing that dry. Monster, he's out in the open. Potential for him to get picked. Very nicely done, a micro play that works for them. Paranoia out and Takas no more. A rifle at least collected? No, not even that.
But here come the Prowlers, right? You can't hold the forward position. You used all of your utility to take at the start of round. You have to retreat. Then what are you doing? You're gambling back in tree on site, finding an angle somewhere. It's not favorable.
Yeah, I feel like the only aggressing utility they've got left is going to be the Trailblaze and the double curveballs from the Phoenix. And with Whalers holding out all by himself, he's got a lot to do. But not capable of doing it.
He's got plenty of time to do it now.
Well, not really.
Left. Spike planted.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's
everyone
a rough one.
in their ones again.
Look, Natank is the only one with a rifle. If anyone going to do it, this has to be him. Or no one at all.
Save.
Possibly.
Their money should be fine.
Yeah, there are a couple of sheriffs that can commit to a play. And there's a alarm bot right in front of the tank, so you can't really do anything about it.
I think you want to go for a fight just to farm orbs on the Phoenix. You can buy next round no matter what. I mean, yeah, maybe you have to buy light armor if you die.
No, the tank saves.
Yeah,
The tank saves.
Okay, let's pause it there before I start losing my mind again. Why is this such a bad decision? Well, this one is inexcusable to me. They're almost playing for exits, as you saw. Like, you know, there's really this Skye and this Phoenix didn't move at all until eventually this Phoenix retreated. Why is this one so bad, right? They're in a 3v4. They, you know, they have some low health. They only, you know, got a sheriff here with low health. We had a sheriff there. We got one rifle. Like, you know, you're not going to win this round. So, you know, why is this such a bad decision? Well, this is such a bad decision because it's round 11. Okay, and this is why this matters, because obviously round 12 is a big reset of the economy, right? And the thing is, they're almost playing for exits here, it looks like. But Ascend can buy for the next round anyway. Like, why are you playing for exits? Like, what? They're fine. Like, Ascend are fine. Like, there's no problem there. And also, there are considerations around ults as well when it comes to saving, right? Where you kind of maybe don't want to go pushing against people who are maybe like one off their ult, but here Brody is 2 off his ult. There's only 2 of you alive, right? Or there was 3 of you alive. Both Alive and Musashi already have their ults, so it's kind of like, you know, that's not going to be a problem. They're going to have them next round anyway. But the thing is, if you actually went for this round, maybe if you get a kill or 2, maybe you force these ults out, right? Which, even if you end up losing the round, hey, that means that they don't have it for the next round, right? That's a possibility as well, that you might force out an ult so that, you know, then you can go into the next round and not have to deal with it. The thing is as well, they saved this round anyway. Again, they're on max loss bonus here for this round. So, you know, this Phoenix with 750, like plus 2,900, and that's assuming you don't get any kills, by the way, for this, right? You've still got 3,650. That's enough to buy the one flash that you're missing, light shields and a Vandal. Like, you're good, right? And everyone else is gonna be good. And, you know, you've saved this round anyway to buy, and yet you did not even try in a 3v4 in this round, even though it's round 11, right? And so this is something that you have to consider, that, you know, once you start getting to those later rounds, like, the economy starts to change a bit, where you probably should be going for these things a bit more, because in this instance, we can buy next round anyway. They can buy next round anyway, and that's the last round. So in no circumstance, unless maybe they will one off every single ult, are we saving in this scenario, right? It just doesn't make any sense. We should be going for this, even though our chances of winning are, you know, almost, you know, 0 essentially, but they aren't 0, right? There is maybe a 5% chance that we could somehow win this round, right? We hit some nice shots. We do have one rifle. And so this is the kind of situation where you should not be saving in round 11. If this was round 3, maybe this is a good save, but in round 11, it makes absolutely no sense. And so I hope that this just showed you how kind of many different factors can go into saving, and that it's not an exact science whatsoever. And a lot of calls are going to be like, maybe that's the right choice, maybe it's not, you know, it's kind of up to the team. But there are some crucial takeaways, you know, from this that I want you to understand, which is that the economy is, for the most part, a 2-player game. And, you know, your opponent's economy is just as important as your own economy as well. So don't just be thinking about that when it comes to saving.